Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome back to the Metal Mushroom. I decided to split things into two videos. I was originally going to do a last build video and include getting the one wheel mounted underneath it as part of that, but the getting it mounted kind of turned into a whole thing. So we're going to do a separate video for that. So we're going to go over how we got to this point. All right, I've put this off long enough. The whole intent of this was to get this fitted to a one wheel, and this was my original kind of just from what I had seen of chairs on one wheels. I just kind of made a little PVC frame here. You can kind of see the feet of it sticking out. This goes up to the internal frame of the speeder itself. Um, Again, I had originally kind of thought that the center, the dividing point between the two halves here would actually be centered over the wheel. I have found though that where the seat sits and where I'm going to end up sitting is more here. So I really need that wheel back farther. So that's why it's scooched all the way forward. And everything that I've seen of trying to do this in a seated fashion, the lower you can get, the better. That's about almost 30 inches. By the time we put some padding on there, we're probably looking at 30 inches. So, and again, though, that I've got, it's currently up 4.5 inches off of the deck of the one wheel. So my thinking is I'm going to drop this back a little bit further so that the wheel falls behind this little divider here that the footrest supports are on. Get that back this way here a little bit, and then I'm going to see what I can do to modify the body to allow the wheel to literally go up inside the body of the speeder bike itself, so it kind of hides the wheel up inside. All right, let's get the bike off of here. Rather than try to manipulate this 40-pound one wheel on top of this, I'm going to take off the fender, use that to get my figure out where everything's going, and then kind of go from there. All right, let's get this off of here for the moment. Get it flipped over. Get the one wheel out of the way. Just move this over here for a minute. All right, got the fender off the one wheel. Got the bike flipped over. I'm going to need to get the PVC frame out of the way here in just a minute. There we go. Once it's out of the way, I'm going to use the fender itself to try to figure out how much of the foam needs to be trimmed. And it's basically half. So it's 1-inch foam that makes up the walls of the speeder bike. And I'm going to cut about 1/2 of an inch off of each side on the inside. And that should just allow the fender of the one wheel to fit up inside the bottom, so it recesses up in. Getting the left side cut now. What I had forgotten at this point was that there are, going through that support for the footrests, the little wood outringers there, there are barbecue skewers, bamboo skewers going through that into the foam. So I'm having to kind of dodge those as I trim this foam down to allow the fender to fit. The right side goes a lot quicker than the left side. I knew what I was doing a little better, and I didn't hit any of the skewers like I did on the other side. So now it does fit down in. And now I've got to see what I can do to reduce the height of the PVC. I did make sure that the outside decorative pipes still fit there. All right, so the PVC is going back on. First thing I'm gonna do is just remove the legs that were below the little 45s there at the corners. That gets me as low as that'll go without adjusting the support at the corner. Needs to go lower. I gotta figure out how to modify the frame or do something different. All right, planning. Okay, I got the frame, the PVC frame cut down. I was able to reduce the size between the 45s to get it as low as it can go right now. And actually, I think that's about perfect. It's actually hitting on the handle over here a little bit. There we go. But yeah, that sits. I got the extra feet that were sticking out too far off. Okay. I think that is as low as we can get it. We were at 30 inches before with the seat. Let's see where we're at. All right, we were at 29 and a half, around 29, 29 and a half. We were basically 26 and a half now. So we've cut a good, probably almost 3 inches off of it. So I think we're good. I think that's as low as I can go. It's still higher than probably I want to be on a one wheel, but who's to say? All right. I did not have to do any addition of foam. I just had to trim that down. And since that's not really structural, the frame is sitting on the internal frame inside, which is held on with glue. So pray. There's foam spacing it above it. But again, so I think we're good there. Right now, it's just a matter of getting the little, there's going to be a little piece that sticks out the side here. That'll be a control arm that goes up towards the front this way. So let me go ahead and get this moved over, and I've got some fabrication to do with those pieces yet. But yeah, we're getting close to being able to start taking it back apart and getting everything sanded and ready for paint. So let's get going. All right, one more thing I had wanted to check was how it's going to sit, because the one wheel needs to tip to stop, right? Usually all the ones that I've seen for seating, riding seated, you want to do the drop the tail to stop. Um, so I just tested this. Right now we're just on the front piece of foam here, and it's sitting balanced. Now there's a bunch of weight that goes out here at the nose for the blade arms and handlebars and everything else that goes out here. There'll be more weight out here, but I wanted to make sure that nothing was going to hit when it does tip back. And that's kind of how you have to start. Let's get that styrofoam out of the way. And so we're only on the one wheel itself. And we're going to drop back. Full stop. And I've got whole hand of clearance so I can get under there easily. So I don't have to worry about that. Let's double check. These go down below, but no, yeah, we're fine. Okay. Right about the little luggage rack thingy in the back. Those still sit fine. So, yeah, I think we're good. You know what? Let's go all out. There. Gonna drop the one wheel down to the floor. Okay. Oops. Pin the table. Seat back on it. Again, we're not hitting the floor on the bike itself. That was my big worry. Let's see if I can sit on this thing. Sure can. I'm gonna tip myself right forward and break something. Okay. Center of gravity is definitely further back. But, haha. You need to put some kind of a wheel at the front. And I'm definitely gonna have to reinforce that seat. I think we did cracked it a little bit. Okay. It's all right. These are how you learn. Okay, but height-wise, great. Very, very happy there. It's dropped it down a lot lower. I can actually get my feet on the ground to get it started. So once I tip, dare I? All right, we're gonna have to figure out why it's not registering the device on it. But these are problems that can be solved. So, all right, I'm gonna work on that, and then we're gonna get those steering rod guides done. So, all right, let's get it done. Okay, I've got a little bit of a proof of concept here. I just rigged up a front wheel with a caster, and this isn't necessarily what we'll go with, but I was just trying to get a kind of a height. It's a little on the high side. It'll need to tip forward more, but you can see that it allows full steering, so I can lean to steer, I think. So let's see, if we bring it all the way back here, come forward, and I lean, it's going to allow that caster to roll and go to that direction. So yeah, I think this will work. And it gives just enough stability that it stands up. So I got to figure out the way to make that look pretty and not so noticeable. The whole thing's going to get a skirt to hide as much of the one wheel as possible anyway. So just incorporate the skirt around that. And I think we're good to go. I got the caster put on and it worked. I did have to shorten it up a little bit, but it doesn't give you any room for movement. So once you're at that height, you're locked in. You can't do anything. I was looking for a larger caster wheel at one of the big box stores and came across this. So it's a gate caster, so it goes like on the end of the large gate, but it's got this spring built into it, which allows some shock absorption. And I thought that would work great for doing being a front wheel. That way it could take any bumps, and it also then gives me some passive speed control. I can just, as long as it's kind of at flat at the most extended of the spring, then I should be able to just lean into the spring and go forward, since that's how the one wheel engages. So it worked. I've done a proof of concept and it does work. So, but it did bring up that that's not what this is designed for. So where it did work, it's not very smooth, and it's unstable. It is more stable than the one wheel by itself, but it still allows you to tip side to side. So what I'm doing is I'm going to add at the end of the footrests, let's get over here. At the end of the footrest here, we've got this, and we're going to switch to these casters. Similar design. This is going to go up through the bottom of the footrest T, and then there'll be a spring on it similar to that other to the gate caster, and that'll allow me a little bit of compression here to lean forward and get some acceleration out of it. So we're going to do that under both of the footrests on each side, and that will also give me tripod stability at that point, so I shouldn't have to worry about the falling over. So that'll be in the next video. I'm going to get these finished, and then we'll do another. I'll go over how I did these and do another test flight. So see you then.